Hello, and welcome to another episode of Preeti Was Here. Today I wanted to share some of the really gorgeous Jane Austen editions I acquired in 2024. There are a lot of new beautiful editions that came out this year, and I know a lot of you are Jane Austen fans, so I thought it would be really fun to share them. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first one we're going to start with is an Easton Press edition of Pride and Prejudice. It is illustrated by Angela Rizza, as you can see on the spine here. It has a very beautiful flower design in gold foil, and you can't really see it, but the leaves down here actually are in green foil. It is a little bit difficult to see. Let me slide this out of the slipcase. Here we have another design by Angela Rizza on the cover, and then again on the back. It's all gold on the page edges, and it is Easton Press genuine leather, so not the finest, but definitely not terrible. It has this thin paper covering over the actual illustrations, and the illustrations themselves are tipped in, so they're not like wholly attached to the paper. And the thing about this edition is that the illustrations are 100% the selling point. I'll show you this one in a little bit more detail. It's Mr. and Mrs. Bennet with a dog. Here's Elizabeth Bennet. There are also illustrations as chapter headers. Here's another one. Here's another chapter header as well. Look how absolutely gorgeous this is. This is what the end papers look like. I believe this is limited to 1,200 copies. This is the signature page, which has the illustrator signature, and it's actually completely blocked in gold foil, which I thought was really stunning. So that's this edition, and it was the first one to start the year off with, and very stunning, as you can see. But what you'll also see is that the editions only get more beautiful from here on out. The next one is from a completely new to me publisher, and it is Persuasion by Jane Austen in 2 volumes. One thing about these editions is that they are the softest leather that I have ever touched in my life. When you compare this leather to like the Easton Press leather, this is a huge step up. It's so soft. The cover is very simple. There's just a foil double border here, and then here I think it's a paper label on the leather. Page edges, instead of being gold, they're actually really cool marbled page edges on all 3 sides. They actually match the slipcase, so I really love that. This is volume 1, and it's published by Rambler Press. My favorite thing about this edition, besides the fact that it's utterly gorgeous, it's in 2 volumes, it's really nice to hold in your hand, it's that it's printed on cotton laid paper. There's like thin horizontal lines of texture going across the page, and it just makes for the most beautiful reading experience. I've become a big Rambler Press fan in 2024 because here we have Northanger Abbey in 2 volumes, also published by Rambler Press. Actually, you'll see that there are no marbled edges on these 2 page edges, but on the top it's gilded gold, but there's also this kind of black natural splatter. So I thought that was really pretty. While this copy of Persuasion here is in the vintage style, it's obviously very fancy. It has the plush leather, it has a decent amount of gold foil. This, on the other hand, you can see there's no gold foil at all in the cover. It's not plush leather. It does not have a paper label on the spine. It's just, you know, very straightforward font. The nicest thing about it is probably the gold tops, and again, the cotton laid paper. It's a really nice readable font size. Very pleasant. Again, the 2 volumes is absolutely stunning. I think Northanger Abbey and Persuasion are the only editions that the press has done so far, but I believe Mansfield Park is coming soon. We'll probably see it early in 2025, and I'm very much looking forward to that. You've probably heard of the Peacock edition. That is originally a cloth-bound edition with a lot of gold foil. This is the original cloth-bound edition, but it was rebound in Moroccan leather with the replica peacock foil stamping done. Opening this was the best experience ever because it's, I don't know if the camera will catch it, but when you open it, it's just, it literally is like opening a treasure chest. It's so shiny. This is the Peacock edition, the actual original Peacock edition, but the binding looks new because it is in fact a new leather binding. Again, we've got the gilded edges on all sides. And so I'll open this up. You've seen that I like the little china paper on top of the illustration. And so you can see, I think this is probably the clearest sign of the age, this kind of the wear and the color on this thin china paper. But it's so satisfying. It's so thin. I'm always scared of damaging it, but it's absolutely beautiful. You can probably see here that down here it says 1894 in the tail of the peacock, So this is the 1894 edition of the Peacock edition. It does have all of the Hugh Thompson illustrations. I did read this edition in its entirety. I definitely took my time with it. It's absolutely stunning. This was the highlight of my collection for, I don't know, maybe a good 1 to 2 months. I figured there cannot possibly be an edition that's more gorgeous than this. What I didn't know is that there was also a more rarer version of the Peacock edition. There was a limited edition called the large paper edition of the Peacock edition. This gorgeous, gorgeous book is actually a rebind of that. It is in fact a larger edition, significantly larger than the really cute but really tiny 1894 Peacock edition. And you take it out of the slipcase, what we have here is a actual original miniature painting based on a scene from Pride and Prejudice, and it is based on the Hugh Thompson illustration, but obviously, you know, a different style because it's a different illustrator. This is the scene in Pride and Prejudice where everybody is at Bingley's place because Jane is sick. Darcy's there, Bingley's there, his sisters are there, and Elizabeth is there. And when they're going for a walk, they're on a path where there's not enough room for Elizabeth, and Darcy realizes that this is rude, but Elizabeth is like, you know what, go on guys, I don't want to hang out with you anyways, I'm gonna go my own way. So this is just Elizabeth being like, hey y'all, you can hang out, I'm gonna do my own thing. This illustration here is the illustration I was describing, and then this is also the same illustration on the cover. As you can see, it's very similar, it's just in a different art style. This is actually called a causeway style binding, where there's like an original miniature set into the binding, and then it's covered with, I'm not sure if it's glass or plexiglass. You have like the foil flower accents in pink and gold, and it's just very classically beautiful, stunning, but also girly edition of Pride and Prejudice, and I absolutely love it. And I believe it's handmade paper on the inside too. Again, we got more foiling and gilding here. It says, of this edition on large paper, 250 copies were printed for England and 25 copies for America. Other than the handmade paper, the really, really cool part about this is that all of the illustrations are actually printed on China paper. These are all printed separately on a different paper and then laid in, which I think was really unique. All of the illustrations are like that. Here you can see the peacock, it actually like kind of like goes across like this. So the illustrations are not just at the beginning of chapters, they're kind of interspersed throughout the book. I believe there are 100 or 100 plus illustrations. There's so much paper, and I believe the original idea behind all the space is so that people could take notes in the margins. I love big margins, so that is absolutely spectacular. I forgot to mention that there is kind of like an ad for purchasing the original Hugh Thompson illustrations. This is like an ad from that time, and I'm just really happy that this came with that because it's just, you know, a part of the history. I'm usually not interested in the history, but I make exceptions for Jane Austen. This is my new most prized possession. Let me also pull out the other regular Peacock edition so that you can kind of compare the two. Here you can see the difference. Peacock edition, large paper Peacock edition, both of them are utterly gorgeous. So those are all of the most absolutely stunning Jane Austen editions that I got in 2024. I had a really great time sharing my Jane Austen collection, and I hope you had fun seeing them as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!